host, Maya Schneider. Or perhaps I should say, welcome back to Truckee Talks, because the last show we taped was in December of 2001. We promised we'd be back after the holidays. We just didn't say which holidays. So we chose Valentine's Day. We're back now. It's February 27th. We're glad to be back. And the reason I'm giving you the date is because we're starting a whole new format this year. We're going to be bringing you a new show every week. And with that new show, we'll be bringing you local events in the community calendar. But more importantly than that, we're going to be bringing you a guest every week, somebody of interest to our community, perhaps from our community, perhaps outside of our community, and we hope that you can learn more about your neighbors by watching Truckee Talks. I also want to take a minute to thank a lot of the people that helped pull together our new show and our new format. Hartley and Patty Lesser especially are tremendous assets to our crew. I want to thank them. I also want to say it's great being back in the studio, and it's great to see all of our familiar faces here at Truckee Talks. So welcome back, welcome to the new season, and we'll get started now on our show. It's my great pleasure to introduce you to Bob Candler. Bob's a local inventor here in Truckee, and you've got a bunch of fun stuff to show us.
Yeah, quite a few things.
Bob, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I saw you at North Star. In fact, it was on my birthday, and you're cruising around on the snow in this invisible device.
Right.
What do you call that?
Well, I named it the No Board because, you know, it's basically see-through. And, you know, so, yeah, came up with a cute name for it. And, yeah, I'd like to show it to you.
It's wild. Well, we'll take a look at it. In fact, let's see if we can get one up here right now. We're lucky to have your assistant and your cousin, Bob Ryan, off the side. Let's see if we'll get this up and get this on camera.
There we go.
Now, this is wild. This is...
Yeah, well, this material is polycarbonate, and it's used for a lot of different things. They make bulletproof windows, canopies for jet planes. Stuff's practically indestructible. And about 10 years ago, I came up with an idea for making a snowboard out of this material. But at the time, polycarbonate didn't exist, and I had to use acrylic, which was, if Bob can hand it to me, I could show you.
Sure.
This was the first.
This was the first one. And we'll say it's a lot heavier.
Right. If you can, get it. Well, anyhow, this thing's flat and it has no camber and
no flex.
Right. And if you flexed it, it would break right in half.
All right.
And I made my own crazy boots and bindings for it back 10 years ago, and I put my cousin on it and sent him down the hill.
And he lived to talk about it.
So we proved that the basic idea, you know, was solid, and all I needed was to find a plastic that was indestructible. And I didn't know whether any existed at the time, but in searching it out, I found this material and made the first prototype out of it, and wrote it, and it worked really well. But now, there's more to it than.
There's no edges here.
Yeah, there's no metal edge, but this material is so dense that you can take a regular file that you would file a regular metal edge that you would do your snowboard normally with. You can file this material, get it as sharp as you need it to have. For most all the conditions, you know, we find that it rides really well in the powder, and you know, we can get as good an edge as any metal edge. I don't particularly like riding ice. I don't think anybody does, but it's made it through all the conditions we ride. You know, every year. This particular board, we've been out on it for about 3 seasons.
Now tell me about these vents in the back.
Yeah, that's part of what makes it pretty unique. The bottom of the board, if you can see it, is concaved in 2 places, starting about midway here and running back. And you wind up running on these runners here. So when the snowboard is flat, you're very stable, where a normal snowboard, there's nothing on the bottom, it's real smooth.
Right.
The board seems to just kind of
Nothing
float
to grip.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going flat and fast on a snowboard is kind of scary at times, you know.
I noticed that going flat and slow on a snowboard.
So most people are on one edge or the other when they're snowboarding, and this design enables you to go really fast, going flat and stable.
Just carves right through the snow.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that this design might slow you down, but it's so gradual, the way it flows out of here, there's no friction, that the snow flows through here very gradually. You're actually running on these 3 runners here that almost act as a trimaran in water, or fins on the back of a surfboard, that give you that extra bite and stability, but no drag. And the fun feature is that, you know, at different speeds and different snow conditions, the snow flies out of here in a rooster tail, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, you've invented this, you've designed it, you and your cousin have tried it out and prototyped it. What's next? Do you mass market it? How are you?
Well,
do you
that's
produce it?
you know, we've gone down a lot of different roads and approached the snowboard industry, and they're pretty secure in the way they're you know, approaching making snowboards, and they've made a lot of investment into the machinery and you know, how to go about making snowboards the way they do it.
This would be a whole
So you
different
know,
kind of.
they basically wish me well, and you know, I basically have to find another avenue. You know, maybe somebody outside the industry. So right now they're very difficult to make by hand, and I do them, you know, out of my garage shop. I've been approached by a lot of people when I'm out riding; they'd like to have one, but they're very difficult to make on a, you know,
Case
small,
by case
yeah,
or
right,
time.
yeah, basis. So you know, I need to take it to a higher level, and I'm not sure exactly, you know, how to go about that. But you know, I've gone down a lot of different roads to try to get there, and you know, dead end here and there. But you know, I know that the technology exists, and I know that there's factories out there. They've just never thought about making a snowboard this way.
It may not be a snowboard manufacturer you're looking for at all,
Right.
but somebody else who's doing some sort of mass
Right,
production.
right. So it's difficult being a, you know, I build houses for a living. That's my real day job, and I do this for fun on the side.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about some of the other things you've invented, because you may build houses for a living, but I think you invent for a livelihood.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see if we can get that film up on the screen and show. We have a clip of folks actually riding the no board. Let's see if we can get that video clip up on the screen here, and see if we can load
Yeah,
that
actually,
in.
it's Cousin Bob.
It's you use this guy as your guinea pig
Yeah,
a lot.
this is my test pilot.
All right, so this is Cousin Bob.
Cousin Bob Ryan. Yeah.
Ryan taking it down
See,
the
there's
mountain.
there's the effect. You can see the.
Well, that roadster
all the
tail, it looks
snow
like you've
flies
got a
out.
little outboard motor on the back.
Right, right. It gives you that feeling.
A
Definitely.
lot of fun,
Just
carving
a little
it out.
extra, you know, fun and excitement. Just
Well,
normal
it's a hoot
snowboarding
watching
doesn't
this
give you.
thing come down the mountain, because you see the bindings, but it's a while before you actually see the board. And that makes it,
Here we're in
makes it
some
fun.
deeper powder, and the board performs really well.
or as your
And,
cousin would say, what we?
Yeah, right.
Got a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah, I'm the photographer.
That's right.
I get to sit in the cold snow and take the picture.
Well, does your cousin help you with design on this? He's out there writing it.
Yeah, he's giving me the feedback. You know, he's 20 years younger than I am, and he's grown up on snowboarding, and yeah, his feedback has been really good.
There you see
I
the-
figured if I could convince him, I could probably convince anybody that it works.
Well,
That's pretty much what it was 10 years ago. Was a challenge, you know, that I couldn't do it.
Well, there's their proof, too, though.
Right.
He's out riding.
This sign's kind of funny. The hard, fast snow conditions, because people think you can't hold an edge on this with this material because there's no metal edge. And this is June Mountain, and it's almost rock hard. And he's flying by here, I don't know, doing about 40 miles an hour.
So that's great.
The board
What a lot
performs
of
really
fun.
well.
What
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some other things that you do, Bob, because
leave that there.
you've invented the whole no board, and yeah, we can leave that there.
Okay.
What the heck? It's a great prop. In fact, maybe I'll ask you to just leave it forever. But you've invented other things.
Yep.
I've got one thing here. I'm just.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. Now, this weighs a ton, and these are golf balls, in case you can't see that from where you are. Now, what was this a prototype for?
Well, you know, being a carpenter, I got sore muscles and sore feet, mostly, you know, from wearing boots all winter. And so, you know, I roll around like most people do on just about any kind of ball device, tennis ball, you name it.
Just
you know,
to work
for-
out
yeah,
the kinks.
You know.
And
So, I don't know, it hit me one night, and I took some golf balls down in the shop and tried to drill holes for them, which was pretty hilarious.
what's it like
Yeah,
drilling a hole in a
now
golf
they're
ball?
flying all over the place. They get real hot, deformed, and you know, hot rubber comes flying out. But I managed to, you know, hold on to them, get through the whole process, and drilled 30 of these things and put them in this little rack and ran my feet on them and noticed that, hey, you know, this thing works pretty good. But then it was so heavy, and I picked it up and started rubbing other parts of the body and realized that, you know, well, if this thing was soft and flexible, that maybe there'd be, you know, something here, you know, that people could use to rub their leg muscles, back muscles, feet, something that you could combine, make it lightweight, cheap, easy to manufacture, because those seem to be the kind of inventions and products that wind up making it, you know, if you're ever going to have a shot at it. This thing's a long shot, because there's so much technology involved, and you need big money, big investment. Something like this you could probably get done, you know, relatively inexpensively, comparatively, you know, other types of inventions and ideas, because of, you know, there's no big time technology in this. And if I could show you where it turned turned into this, from this.
See the evolution here.
Right, you know, and I basically go out as an inventor, and I look for inexpensive ways to create my product, you know, and I make my own prototypes. And then getting to this point, these are just wiffle practice golf balls, but they just worked so well for what I wanted because they were so soft and had the holes in them. And when they spin,
they were pre-drilled.
Yeah, exactly. And when they spin, they're air cooled, you know. So that took me down this whole new road of you know, every massage device that's out there is like made out of wood or something,
That's
and it
right.
creates a lot of friction, and it burns right through the material into your skin, you know. So this thing, you can rub the heck out of yourself and not get that kind of
That friction and heat built up.
you know, and it's not something, you know, to rub yourself doesn't sound like the greatest thing. You'd rather have somebody else do it for you, you know, of course.
But it's nice to have
But
something you just put
somebody
your
can
feet
get
on.
behind
and-
you. They can rub you. You can rub yourself. That was the whole idea behind the thing, and to make it so lightweight and you know, something that could just kick around. And
Now,
put on
this
the
you've
floor of
actually
the
put into
car.
production, though. This,
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
got to
this
the
in
point
stores.
of you know, borrowing a little money against the house. Yeah, investing a few dollars, and you know, found a little mom and pop injection mold shop down in Reno that helped me with the mold, and you know, small investment, about $10,000 to make a mold for this one little part here, and I got a direct line with Wiffle, and they were able to sell me these, you know, at wholesale in quantity, about 30,000
That's great.
Wiffle golf balls.
This is the story of a product. How it
now,
comes
and you have
be.
to start somewhere, and you know, so I made this investment, and I got some stores around town here that are gonna, you know, help me just test market them. I'm not making any money off of it. It's, you know, it's just covering costs and to see whether, you know, people, you know, like it.
Is
you
there a
know,
market
whether
out
it
there
fits
for
into, you know, people's worlds,
Yeah.
you know, and get that feedback, and that's my test market using Truckee, you know, see if the community will help me decide whether to go forward.
Do you find Truckee is a good test market for
Yeah,
your
I do,
products?
because, you know, the mix here is perfect. You know, there's people from all over the world, and
That's true.
people from all over the country.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got them in a few nice places.
Well, you know, what's fascinating to me is the mind of an inventor. You said that, you know, it just hit me one night. Ideas don't hit me. I must
Yeah.
not be on the same road that you're on, because I have to struggle
Yeah.
to be creative. I'm not the sort of person that ideas come to. And yet you've got idea after idea after idea.
Yeah, I think that's my problem. I have too many ideas.
So it
If
could
I
be
can
a
focus
curse.
on one, I've been told that by a lot of experts. Hey, focus on one, you might make it, you know. But yeah, I get sidetracked because I start going down a road, and I think, well, like the rollaway massager, I thought, you know, I got to switch my attention from these harder, more difficult ideas and go to something simpler. And if I could get that done, maybe that would finance my invention world, you know, and I could maybe produce these things and create these things on my own. Because going out to find the big money is so difficult.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and the big help that you need is
Yeah.
very hard to find. But I am able to do this one by myself. You know, I can, you know, get enough funds together to start the thing off in a cottage factory type environment, you know, and just get a little product out there and develop it that way. And
The nature of inventors, though, from what I've read and what you hear about the inventors we get to hear about, is that they invent a lot of different product. They don't just stay with one thing. They're constantly full of
yeah,
ideas.
you need
and-
multiple ideas, because the chances are you're never going to get one.
One is, unless you hit on the
So,
fifth
right, one
rock.
don't work, you got another one, another one. You know, but you know, that's pretty much you know, something that's known amongst all inventors, is you have to have a lot of perseverance. And
Well, let's
you
bring
know,
up a couple of your other items.
Yeah.
You've, in fact, we've got a couple of clips. Let's see if we can show the Akron up here and give an idea of.
Yeah, this is-
now, this is great
my
70s
oldest, I
graphics here, Bob, I have to say. And what is this?
This
looks
is
like a fat
1978. This ad was in the Los Angeles Times, and this is when I was living in Santa Barbara, and I was trying to promote this product in Los Angeles, and a company had licensed the rights to the product, and I had a signed contract for a royalty deal.
Right.
And they ran it through this Akron department store, which was just a schlock department store. So I had no control over how they made it or marketed it, and they made the product poorly. It was injection molded, and it didn't come out real well. And the Akron, like I said, was just not the place. Wasn't a sporting goods store, and no demonstration. They just sat in boxes, and they tried this promotion in a one-weekend effort with television backup and all of that. $59.99, tried to create a little sidewalk sensation, and it didn't go. So I moved on, and the years went on, and I hid the idea in the closet for a while.
And then here we have an article
Hey, here we
in
are.
the Sierra
Yeah,
Sun.
we're in the 90s now. We go from the 70s to the 90s, and I'd pull it out every decade and dust it off and try to get somebody interested. in the early 90s, I get Cousin Bob riding it, and we thought, let's go to the local paper and tell them the story, you know, it'd be a kick, you know.
I wonder if
Logo
every
inventor.
inventor has a Cousin Bob
I
stashed
think
away
so.
somewhere.
Yeah, you got to have somebody that believes
taste
it, you know,
this,
believes
here,
a little
try
bit,
this.
you know, and will write some of the stuff. Yeah.
That's right. Here, I want you to
They
taste
say, yeah,
this.
you're kind of on the right track there. You know?
So is this you and your cousin?
Yeah,
Bob
this is
then?
me and Bob here demonstrating
The
the
two
ski
Bobs.
skate, you know, and this, I didn't explain, you know, when you put that ad up there, but I created a skier skateboard because I grew up surfing, surfers had the skateboard, I took up skiing, and then in the summer when there's no skiing, then there's no skateboard for the skiers, and I thought, well, the idea hit me one summer, and I thought, why not stand parallel on a board
And that's the
use
big difference
poles with
here.
rubber tips?
Okay.
Right, and simulate skiing instead of standing sideways and simulating surfing. And this particular design worked really well, and we're able to, you know, go at high speeds, 30, 40 miles an hour. And
Well, you said you took this on Highway 40?
yeah, up and down 40 for years.
What kind of madman would you have to
Well,
be?
I had to create my own wheel.
Oh,
See,
all
that
right.
was the important
The
thing.
high-speed
'cause-
wheels. Maybe
yeah,
we can
yeah,
grab
bring
this.
Bring the ski skate up, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. See, this is the high-tech ski skate.
And now
because
this is huge.
The
I
first
mean-
one was injection molded.
Okay.
And then this one was hand poured and created by a guy named Sam Zoltar, who worked on the first Star Wars movie.
I was going to say Zoltar sounds
Yeah,
like
isn't
a
that great
character
name?
from Star
Yeah,
Wars.
he did. He worked on the first. He
Look
worked
at
for
this.
Lucas, and he made the models for the you know, aircraft. So he had an incredible background in how to make molds and stuff. You know, and I met this guy in Santa Rosa, and he hand poured these things for me, and we came up with this rod idea, these fiberglass rods in the bottom that control the flex, so that you won't, you know, break the
Overflex.
material,
Okay.
overflex the material,
Okay.
but for different weight ranges of people, you could control how it flexed and give you rebound in the turns when you're carving the turns.
And the boards are awfully long, but you really do
Yeah.
stand in a
Right,
side by
Right.
side.
So you stand parallel in here, and you use the poles with the rubber tips. And I had to create my own wheels, which I took mountain bike tires and cut them off and glued them to regular urethane wheels, which enabled me to have greater friction on the asphalt. So
Which is a good thing
I could
when you're
control
going
my
40
speed.
miles
You
an
know,
hour.
I can stay at 20 and not have to bail off and, you know, off the cliff or something. So yeah, it looked like we were extreme, but we weren't. You know?
Well, it sounds
Yeah.
extreme to me, Bob, but maybe you and I have a very different notion of what extreme
Right.
is. This is amazing. Well, you know what's so fun is just talking about all of the different ideas you have and then putting them in motion. I think a lot of people get ideas and then never do anything with them. And,
Yeah.
and you're giving it a shot. Or
I'm
you're,
giving it a shot.
You're shoving your cousin Bob out there
Yeah, I don't know if
and
it's
let
such
him
a good,
give it a shot.
great thing, but yeah, I'm giving it a shot. I don't know, I'm compelled. Just something inside of me that makes me want to try these things, even though I know they're long shots.
Well, we only have a couple of minutes left, and I want to make sure we wrap up here and get everything said that you want to say. First of all, people are going to be intrigued. I know you're going to have viewers that are seeing this and say, wow, that's cool, and I want one. As you said, they're difficult to do on mass production, of course. Before we leave, I did want to give you a little bit of grief on what your cousin Bob called your calling card here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may want to describe the
Well,
two belly button girls
we thought
here,
that, you know, if we use this picture to, you know, show, you know, people that are interested in the board, you know, that they would maybe...
Board? What board?
Yeah, the one that you can't see, you know, maybe
Right.
they would look at the picture long enough to really take in what we're trying to show them, which is the clear board that we've created.
Well, I'm not sure how many guys are actually going to be looking at the board there.
Right.
But what I wanted to say to our audience was if they were interested and wanted to contact you about any of your inventions, Bob Candler can be reached at 582-8067. Again, that's in Truckee, area code 530-582-8067. Bob, it's been a delight having
this
you
was
on the
great.
show.
It
Thank
went
you so
fast.
much.
Thank you very
I
much.
told you it
Yeah,
would.
you're right.
You have to
Very
sit around
good.
and wait, and then it
Yeah,
goes really fast.
a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks
All
a lot,
right.
Maya. All right.
We'll be back in just a minute with some community events updates, so hang in there. We'll be right back.